Hey everyone, this is Nikachu, and we are here for a very quick sideboard guide for the Star City Games regional players that are going to be playing in their Star City Games regional tournaments coming this weekend. It's not going to be a very comprehensive sideboard guide because I don't want to spend so much time on this thing because I'm going to make another one later this month in preparation for Grand Prix Vancouver. And this is the list that I have, so this is the only one that I can offer to you guys. I went 5-0 with this thing twice in a row. I had a ton of 4-1s, and of course I did extremely well with, I don't know if it was exactly this list, but something very similar in my PPTQs and PTQs online. Felipe Rodriguez reminded me that Manamo School at Water's Edge interacts quite well with Vendilion Clique. So Vendilion Clique is legendary, so in theory you can attack with Clique and then threaten to untap it to block something else. Very key interaction, I think will help us in a lot of races. We're going to put Manamo in the deck, and I think it would happen a lot more often than the Kira interaction, where you try to hit Kira and then Vapor Snagger back to your hand in response to a sweeper. More or less, everything else is pretty stock. I have only two Harbinger of the Tides in the main deck now, putting one in the sideboard, and the reason for that is when I was thinking about all the games that I lost, all the matches that I lost, there are so many of them where I have this handful of Harbinger of the Tides, Curse Catchers, Aether Vials, and maybe one Lord, and the Lord dies, and then I'm just left with these dinks. Like, really, if my opponent isn't tapping their creatures, then Harbinger of the Tides isn't actually doing anything. So, yeah, I'm going to be experimenting with now 2 Harbinger of the Tides. Really like this number. It's a nice, clean number. Yes, so still playing with 3 Mara Rejury, 2 Vendilion Clique, doing a lot of work for me. 4 Master Waves, 3 Spell Pierce, because there are so many decks right now that we have trouble against where we would want Spell Pierce. Like, for example, just Lantern Control. You'd at least have a little bit of game against that deck with the 3 main deck Spell Pierces. And now I'm playing with Vapor Snag, but you can play with Dismember, and you might want to, just in case some random lunatic plays the Cheerios deck, and we'll talk about that later, but Dismember has a lot more game against that card, against that deck, than Vapor Snag does. 4 Aether Vials, 4 Spreading Seizes, and sideboard, same as usual, 4 Gut Shot to kill lots of stuff, 4 Tectonic Edge, 4 Unified Will, 2 Relic of Progenituses, and a 3rd Harbinger of the Tides. You could also maybe replace 2 Gut Shots with 2 Dismembers, but that would change the sideboard guide by quite a bit, but the guide won't change at all if you just replace the Vapor Snag with Dismember. So moving to it against Bant Eldrazi, we're going to bring in 2 Gut Shots for their Mana Dorks or their Eldrazi Sky Spawner. We're going to bring in a Harbinger of the Tides because it works out pretty well, and we'll take out all the Spell Pierces because we don't really have anything to Spell Pierce in that deck. We will, against Burn, bring in 1 Harbinger of the Tides and take out 1 Vapor Snag because Vapor Snag is just sort of poopy against Burn. Against Abzan, we'll bring in 4 Tectonic Edges. They're a 3-color deck, very sensitive to Tectonic Edge. 2 Relic of Progenitus because it does interact with a lot of their graveyard creatures like Scavenging Ooze, Tarmogoyf, Lingering Souls, sometimes Grimflayer if they're playing with it. Harbinger of the Tides I'm going to bring in. Really like Harbinger against Abzan because of Lingering Souls. After it's resolved, just bouncing one of those tokens extends your life by quite a bit. We're going to take out all the Aether Vials and all the Spell Pierces. Spell Pierce is pretty underwhelming against Abzan. They don't play with a whole lot of spells except for maybe Liliana the Veil. Path to Exile is very cheap, and Fatal Push is now also going to be very cheap. So I think Spell Pierce overall ineffective. You could play it though if you wanted to. If you see Damnation, things like Harbinger of the Tides aren't necessary. Maybe you can just play with 2 Tectonic Edges, or actually you could just take out. Oh no. Whatever, we'll just leave it as that. Against Jund, we're going to bring in a Harbinger of the Tides, 2 Relic of Progenitus, 2 Tectonic Edges. We'll take out 1 Spell Pierce and 4 Aether Vial. Against Affinity, we're going to bring in all the Gut Shots and a Harbinger of the Tides. We're going to take out Spell Pierce because that's really useless against them. I mean, in theory, it's useful, but the thing is, you don't have any time to hold up 1 mana for the whole game, and then they're just spewing their hand on the board, and they'll also be playing around either Spell Snare or Spell Pierce, so you're going to have a really hard time trying to get value out of that card. On turn 1, if they play like Springleaf Drum, just counter it. It's good value. And we'll take out 2 Master Waves because it's the most expensive card in the deck, the most clunky. Against Tron, 4 Tech Edges, 4 Unified Will, get rid of the Master Waves, Snags and Harbingers, goodbye. Against Grixis Control, we're going to bring in 2 Relic of Progenituses, deal with Snapcaster Mage, 4 Tectonic Edge because they're a 3-color deck, and we'll take out Harbinger, 2 Vapor Snag, and 2 Mutavault. I found that this sort of system with taking out Mutavault actually works quite well against Grixis Control, I guess, because it's, even though they do have sweepers like Anger of the Gods, it's just very hard to ever find a time to activate him and attack with him without him getting blown up by like a million removal spells. Alright, against Dredge, we'll bring in the 2 Relic of Progenituses, a Harbinger of the Tides, and we'll take out Spell Pierce, because Spell Pierce actually, honestly, I think a very good card in this matchup. However, I think you want to focus on tapping out against them. It's awkward to hold up mana against Dredge, because they can be quite a fast deck. I would rather interact with them by tapping out, put the Curse Catcher in play, tap out for the Harbinger of the Tides, stuff like that. Yeah, that's about it. And if you're playing with a version with Dismember, then I would suggest you take that card out instead, because Dismember, of course, isn't going to do anything for you. Against Red-Green Valakut, bring in all the Tectonic Edges, the Unified Wills. Tectonic Edge, honestly, not a mind-blowing card, and the reason for that is it's like every single card in their deck negates it. I mean, just a land drop negates it. They're searching for a land. Like, most of their deck is like just land drops, so Tectonic Edge generally will almost never mana screw them. It will just slow them down a little bit, hopefully a little bit, for you to catch up against them, or keep your Spell Pierces live against things like Through the Breach or Anger of the Gods. Against Infect, you're going to bring in all the Gut Shots, the Harbinger of the Tides, take out Master Waves, way too expensive, and Mara Regery, still pretty expensive. Against Ad Nauseam, you're going to want to bring in the Unified Will. You're going to want to bring in the Tectonic Edges, but you're going to take out Master Waves, too slow, and Vapor Snag doesn't really do anything, doesn't interact with them. So here's the new decks. Okay, so the Cheerios deck with SRAM, all it is a deck with a bunch of 0 mana artifact equipment spells that when they're cast, the deck has 8 creatures that say when you cast an equipment spell or an equipment spell enters the battlefield, they draw a card. I don't know, this deck is nuts, and this is the only reason why you would want to have Dismember in the deck, so that you can kill those things on the spot. Because Vapor Snag it will tempo them for a turn, but it's not a permanent solution. They're just gonna replay it next turn and then go off. And the idea is they keep playing these equipment for free. They just have a bunch of 0 mana equipment. Play equipment for free, draw. Play equipment, draw. Play equipment, draw. Play equipment, draw. And they're going to play cards like Retrace, which is a blue instant, return all your artifacts and play back to your hand, so that they can keep doing this over again and draw tons of more cards. And they keep building up Storm, and at some point they play Mox Opal, Grape Shot you to death. So we can interact with this with them a little bit. I want to bring in the Unified Will. That can counter the creatures if we get off to a fast enough start. Or you can Vapor Snag and then hopefully counter it on your turn. I want to bring in Relic of Progenitus because they have a green card called Noxious Revival. It's 1 Phyrexian mana spell. It's return target creature card return target card from a graveyard back on top of your library, so or to their library. And that's one way they can keep their chain going with Noxious Revival. Like, if they need to, they can... with Retrace, I mean. They could Noxious Revival, Retrace, or Noxious Revival a creature that's in their graveyard, and you want to wipe it out. In addition, Relic of Progenitus can draw cards, so maybe you can help draw yourself to some answer that you need. We're going to take out Master... It's not the greatest interaction in the world, but I think it's better than nothing. It's better than Master of Waves, which you'll never cast. You will probably be dead by then. If you're either winning or you're dead. So Master of Waves is just a big clunky card for no reason. And we're going to take out Mara Regery for a similar reason. It's just the most expensive card that doesn't really interact with them. Esper Control. There was a request for Esper Control. Just bring in all the Tectonic Edges, the Unified Wills, 2 bring in Relic of Progenitus, and take out Snag, Harbinger, 2 Mutavaults, and 4 Master Waves. And I think that's it. That's all I want to do against Esper. Yeah, alright. So I hope you liked this Sideboard Guide video. Good luck at SCG Regionals. Unfortunately, it's going to be random. It's going to be sort of random. You have no idea who's going to be playing the Cheerios deck, or if there's even going to be a Cheerios deck, and it's a whole new metagame out there, so I don't know. Good luck with it. So this has been Nikachu with this Sideboard Guide for SCG Regionals.